right. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to our live.
Hello. We think we did it right.
Yeah, feel free to drop a little comment, say what you're doing, where you're from, what instrument you play. Um, yeah, and if you can hear us.
Yeah, that would be awesome. If you can hear us and see us, I'm just double checking to make sure. Yeah, I mean, it says we're live in Woodwind Support Community.
We
So
did it. We were trying
technology
like
works.
a new thing with the Zoom screen share, so it's very exciting.
Yes. Um, awesome. Yeah, a lot of you guys voted. We had a ton of votes, and we really appreciate all of your feedback. It helps us deliver awesome stuff to you. And yeah, today we're talking about fast fingers, finger dexterity.
Yeah. So a lot of people have actually been asking about this for a while, and so I'm so excited we're doing it live. It's been a few months in the making, I think. So yeah.
Yeah. Should we just sort of start things off?
Let's go into it. Yeah, and if you're watching, feel free to put a little comment and we'll try to read everything. Um okay. So, the things that we need for playing fast. Okay. So, I think that Amanda, correct me if you feel differently, but I think that the thing that people think about playing fast is that they need to be playing fast all the time in everything that they practice. And I actually think that the most important thing about playing fast is having like an effective warm up and practice strategy routine. So maybe a lot of people don't know what a warm up routine is. Um, so why don't you talk about what a good warm up routine is for you?
Sure, yeah. Because I feel like this has changed for me over the years. Like before I learned what a warm-up routine should look like, I just sort of thought it meant like warming up my instrument. The flute is like cold. So I was like, blow into it. I'm warmed up. Cool. Um, but I've learned that actually your warm-up routine can be so good that you like literally don't even need to practice your music much. For example, James Galway. I'm going to just do a little woo for James Galway because he and the whole French school of flute playing, like they do this thing where their warm-up routine is most of their practice session. You cover long tones, you cover scales, different exercises to practice your scales further, and tonguing. And with all of that warm up practice, you are fully prepared to play any piece. So, for example, like anyone seen this
Ooh,
book before?
I have.
So, this book is French, obviously French music, but all the runs in here and stuff are just your scales. So, if you have your warm up routine down and you've worked with somebody to develop a warm up routine that works for you, then you can play all the fast runs in that book and all the fast runs in your Sousa marches and everything that comes your way. Like, it really comes down to a good warm up routine.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and I have something similar for clarinet and saxophone. I mean, regardless of what instrument, whatever woodwind instrument, they're, are general the same things that you do for a warm up routine. Like Amanda just said, the long tones, the scales. So I make sure to hit long tones so that I'm really thinking about my tone and if I'm in tune. And then my scales. And a really good place to start is at least knowing your major scales, the 12 major scales. Um, and then I usually do some articulation exercises as well, staccato to keep up the tongue development. So I have like a little packet that I go through, and actually we at Woodwind Academy we like make little warm up booklets for all our students. And I actually use the flute warm up book that Amanda made. Like seriously, I have it on my music stand. I was using it yesterday. Um, yeah, so that's what I do. And what's really cool about a warm up routine too is you can have it be 5 minutes, you can have it be an hour if you have more time to practice. So you can really cater it to you. Um, because
Yeah.
like what's really going on with the band music and things that I found that my students might be having issues with is they're all based on like technique or scales. Like everything's going to be in a key, right? So if you don't know your scales or you don't feel comfortable with your long tones, you're not going to be able to play fast in that music.
Yep. And a lot of times, like, it's not just scales. And this is like,
Mm-hmm.
another thing we cover at Woodwind Academy is music theory. And it's like, okay, what's the point of music theory? That's not like playing my instrument. That's like knowing like kind of nerdy stuff. But it's actually like there's arpeggios, there's different types of chords that make up arpeggios. Like an arpeggio isn't just like a da 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 da. It can go a lot further than that. We have lots of different types of chords we can play. And I have students sometimes that will bring me a run and they're just like, I don't know how to play this. It's so fast. And like my fingers just don't move. And, it's not a major scale. So I don't know what it is. Well, guess what? If you come to Woodwind Academy, you'll know. Oh my God, that is a minor seventh chord going like do 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 like just up and down. So, and I already know my minor seventh chords. I understand the concept of that. I know the pattern of notes that are going to happen. And because of all that knowledge, and because of maybe your warm up routine that you have sort of incorporated that stuff over time, you can nail that run. You have all the tools to do so. That's why at Woodman Academy, we like to say, and like you might have seen this in an email, like all the tools you need to improve on your instrument. Like literally they're tools we still use. So yeah, Anna, I agree with you on that with the runs in the music.
Yeah, and I was even having the same issues on flute. Like I recently, well, not recently, I guess, but I added flute as a clarinet and sax player to play to do some more jazz doubling. And it was kind of humbling having to be a beginner on flute. And I was having some of the same issues Amanda described. Like I was studying with Amanda. I'm like, oh Amanda, like I can't play this like jazz music. Like it's not working. Like why do I sound so bad? And she's like, well, are you doing your long tones? Like, do you know your G major scale like up to the high G? And I'm like, oh, I can't. Like at that time, I couldn't really play up to the high G. So I'm like, no, and of course, like that's why it sounded terrible. So when I started doing those things, like I sound pretty good now, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. So yeah, just having a really good warm up, having a foundation so that you just feel confident that you know what you're practicing.
Yeah. And also, here's an example of why warm-up routines are so specific. So for you, Anna, you're like a jazz pro musician. So obviously I'm not going to be like, Anna, do you know all of your types of scales? And I'm not going to like work with you much in music theory because, to be honest, you're teaching me a lot about music theory, especially when it comes to jazz.
We teach each other.
Scales, of course. But your warm-up routine, like as a doubler, would look a little bit different than somebody who like only plays flute, for example,
right.
Because you have to do a little bit more to like transition the embouchure and like get used to that change. Versus if you only play flute, it might be more focused on just like the finger dexterity and posture and air and just understanding your scales and getting used to like building the muscle memory for them. So yeah, it varies from individual to individual. That's why you can't just like look on YouTube. Best warm up routine for me. Like
I was just gonna talk about that. Also, everyone's face is different. Like even with I keep talking about the flute, but everyone has a different face. Everyone has a different like mouth. So everyone's embouchure on every instrument is going to be slightly different. I mean, there's certain basics we should do, but it's so personal. And you really need like a live person there to be able to help see what's happening. So that's why if you've just been watching a lot of YouTube videos about best warm-up technique ever and still haven't like improved, that might be why.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Anna, like, can you talk more about that? Like,
oh, sure.
Everyone's sort of face is different and bodies are different. Like, how, I mean, is this like a posture thing where like you need to make sure that things look a certain way or
Yeah, so there's definitely like when we're playing our instrument, we should there's definitely good for all instruments. There's definitely good things we should be doing with our body to make sure that we're healthy and that we're set up correctly. So definitely like good posture. Especially I noticed this a lot during the pandemic. We all developed kind of like a weird hunch situation from, being isolated, not playing live, or maybe just kind of like bent over trying to look at our music. So that's why it's super important to have, like a professional kind of look at what you're doing, make sure that everything is set up right for you. Um, and I know that especially when I was learning flute with Amanda, we really like I was doing the whole like jazz slouch, like let's play flute like this. I've had some clarinet students that are playing clarinet like this, like saxophone, like all sorts of weird stuff that you see on YouTube. So that's something that's like really important, and that's something that we do too, like with our live master classes and at Woodwind Academy too. We can see you and interact with you, and just make sure that everything's looking good. I think, did you have a personal story about that, Amanda?
I always have a personal story about something related to food. So, yeah, I mean, okay, I'll just say first, like, some people come to me and they're like a little frustrated about why they can't move their fingers fast. And then I look at their posture and I see several things that could be improved. And we don't realize how much like our shoulders, our arms, our neck, our back, like the way we're sitting in our chair, we don't realize how much that affects our fingers. We like blame our fingers for everything. And I'm the classic, like, I'll just pretend this pen is my flute. I'm the classic, like, practice for hours and hours like this. And I'm like, why? I'm like slunched over, or my neck is tight, or I have the shoulder thing, like, and I'm blaming my fingers for why I can't play fast. And it's not my fingers. It's what my fingers are attached to. So yeah, I had to work with, there's this place in Baltimore, I think it's called the Hand Center. I don't know. Hand Center, Hopkins, or Union. I don't remember what hospital does it, but it's literally a hand center for like sports medicine, and they work with musicians because we're athletes of the small muscles. And I was like in a room with like a doctor and then like 8 like intern doctors trying to like study like musician hand pain, and they're just like making me play my flute. And at the time I had double tendonitis, and I couldn't understand why, but I reached a point where like I couldn't physically like move any of my fingers without pain. So I worked with them a lot for like 6 months, seeing a therapist too, to like talk about tension in my arms. And like, I thought there was a problem with my fingers. I was like, oh my God, I have small hands. I can't play flute fast. Like, I'm never going to be as good as like somebody with larger hands or somebody who's stronger. But it turns out it was all me getting in my way with like being tight in the wrong spot or not knowing where to put my elbow. And that's why like if you study with me, I'm always just like looking at you in the Zoom, and I'm like, you drop your elbow like an inch.
That's so right though. I'm playing flute.
That is me. I'm just like that's why it's a virtual academy, because in person, like, I have so much trouble talking about people's posture because I can't like just like get in their face and be like, what are you doing? Like, but on Zoom you could see a lot of detail. So yeah, that's something that we both do a lot at Woodwind Academy, because Anna, like, I mean, Oberlin like got real academic with all the like how to stand, how to blow, all that stuff.
Yeah, so you forget that, like, and like, I guess disclaimer, we aren't medical doctors, but it's really helpful. That's why it's so helpful to play for a live person or be in a community where you can play for other people, so you can try to stop some of these problems that you might not even be realizing. I know for me, about the hand tension thing, that's so true, because even just like with any instrument, like if you're holding a lot of tension in your body, and you're trying to play fast, like if your fingers are just, I mean, think about it. If your fingers are tense, you can't move them fast without pain. They're just not going to, you're going to be constantly battling yourself. So there's so many things like posture wise, and it's so individual and specific, and it's just really important to, it's never too early to, to start thinking about, and looking at these like problems, just to make sure that, you know, if, that nothing's getting in your way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And just preventing pain is the best way to manage pain, in my opinion, especially when it comes to doing something athletic like this, because it is athletic, and you got to make sure you have good form.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome.
yeah, cool. I mean, I feel like that about covers like sort of the essential main things you need to play fast. And I know they don't exactly relate. I don't think we even said the word metronome yet.
I think what I'm hearing though is, yeah, and also the ability to be able to practice things slow, and like you were saying, really get awareness of your body and feel comfortable with your practice routine and what you're doing, and feeling comfortable working with someone and in a community that is able to kind of see those things.
Yeah, definitely. That is sort of our vibe, is individual attention. We get to know you, get to know whatever problems you're experiencing, how to troubleshoot them, and how to help you really understand, like, honestly, from an academic standpoint, like why you have pain in your left arm, or like why your G to A fingering is always like maybe a little sloppy. Like, we'll help you figure that out. Yeah, so awesome. All right, so we talked a lot, but if you got to the end of this live, congratulations on your attention span with us. If you made it through this, you can definitely make it through our Woodman Academy tutorials and stuff. Although in that one, we like literally play our instruments and we guide you through like videos, and you know, this is more just like a lecture, more so than like a practice video. But anyway, one thing that you can go try, so I want you to take a look at your homework. Take a look at your scale routine and make sure that you're not doing the same exact thing every day. So for example, if I want to get better at running and all I do every day is sit-ups, I don't do anything else. I don't practice like running fast or running different speeds or like doing hills or whatever. Like, it's called cross training. So same thing with music. If you only practice your F major scale every day, you're not going to have improvements in your technique. So pick 3 scales a day to do and then vary it up from day to day. Track your progress in a practice journal. Make sure that you are indeed practicing separate scales each day, and that would be a great place to start with improving your warm-up routine.
And let us know how it goes. You know, there's certain things you're struggling with. Yeah, so that's your homework for the week. Cool. Well, I think Amanda and I are going to go practice or teach or something, something productive with our days. Yeah, is there anything else, Amanda? I think that's it for me.
I feel like that wraps it up well. Yeah, but thank you guys for watching and for being in our community. We love you so much, and we just are so happy we get to do this with you.
Yeah, thanks for being like, I feel like you guys all voted and we're awesome, so thanks. Yeah, and I'm gonna wrap things up. So have a great Sunday, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.